Mike Simmons, who's the founder of this event. Normally, there are 200 people all in this room, but right now we're in a pandemic, so it looks a little bit different. But Mike has been doing this for 8 years at least.
Actually 9.
9 years.
Today, it's our 9th year.
9th year, that is amazing. And so I want to talk to you today, Mike, about why you started this and how it has helped your business.
So why we started it, how we started it, it was really to kind of get our name out in the community. In financial services practice that I have through New York Life, people will only buy from you if they know, trust, and like you. And the way to do that is to stage an event.
Or build relationships.
Build relationships. So when I started, and you and Roger were actually some of the early attenders, and I will tell you, the first year I thought about pulling the plug a couple of times because we'd only have maybe a dozen people show up. But I kept at it, kept persistence, word of mouth. People kept bringing in new people. On any given night, if there's 100 people here, 50 of them are going to be brand new first timers. The other are going to be, as I call, repeat offenders.
Those who come regularly.
Those come regularly. But it's helped my practice in that people have gotten to know who I am. And what really motivates me is, I haven't landed a lot of clients out of this, but I do get referrals. I also get the opportunity to help others. I'm a big believer in giving first. So by creating an environment that others can come together and network, it gives me the satisfaction. Actually, I had a young lady ask me some years ago, she goes, "What do you get out of this? Do you get paid?" No. I don't charge for people to come. I don't pay the hotel to stage it here. I pay for any expenses like the meetup site, Facebook ads, things like that. I pay for that out of pocket, but it again helps generate an event that people can come, make connections, and hopefully be able to network and build their businesses. I'm a firm believer in if everybody's businesses are growing, that's good for everybody.
Right, and I love that. I always say it starts with your heart. Really, you're not here to sell to the people here tonight.
No.
That's kind of a mistake, isn't it? To come in thinking you're going to start giving your sales skills.
The biggest mistake anybody can make is actually walking through the doors and looking at people going, who can I sell? Who can I land as a client? I have seen people walk in with their sales books and walk up to people they don't even know and just go through and try to pitch them on something. I had one young man came up to me, he gave me his last business card. And I looked at it and said, "Oh, you do search engine optimization." And he went into a 3.5 minute sales pitch. Never once asked me, do I even have a website?
Right.
People, again, this is all about building relationships. With Roger being a plumber, I may not know anybody right now that needs a plumber, but 3 days from now, somebody could post out on a social media, "Hey, does anybody know a good plumber?" I know a good plumber. I can recommend Roger. Likewise, somebody may say, "Hey, Julie, who does your life insurance or who do you know that can help me with that?" Well,
Mike.
So, here it is. That's what it's all about is, you're planting seeds and you're taking care of them, you're farming them. Some are going to germinate quickly, some will germinate over time. But yeah, people that it's building the relationship, and it's and quite frankly, if you're giving out referrals, at some point people are going to feel guilty and they're going to say, "I need to give something back."
Yeah, they're going to want to reciprocate that, aren't they?
Exactly.
It's natural.
That's what I love about it. I have one gentleman who does mortgages, and I've sent a number of clients to him, and he always feels guilty every time he sees me. He goes, "Man, I need to get you some referrals."
Okay. Someday you will.
Someday he will.
That's right. That's right, because we're not doing business together right now, but we're doing business through each other.
Exactly. When you come into a room like this, your attitude should be, who here can I meet? Who can I help? Who are they connected to? Not who can I sell? Bad attitude of who can I sell? Because you're going to leave very disappointed at the end of the night, and you'll never come back. And you'll be a nomad, and you'll go from event to event. You'll never be successful. So
that's right. So it starts with your heart. Start an event to build your network, build the connections that you have, and do business through those connections. It doesn't happen overnight, but it will happen.
Exactly. And overnight successes are never overnight successes. There's a lot of stuff that goes on before that tipping point, that critical mass, and then boom, everything takes off.
I love it.
So
thank you so much for doing this. First of all, this is one of our favorite events.
Well, Roger and I were just talking about the first time. You weren't with him that night, but the first time I met him.
That was the first night he went networking without me, actually.
And we won't say what happened that night, but
I know.
Yes. So, but yeah, it's been fun. It's just Jeremiah is trying to help me to leverage it a little bit more.
Leverage it, promote who you are. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's not for 2021. It's been get out of your comfort zone.
Yep. We got to get back into it.
Yeah. So.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fist bump.
Fist bump.
So I met Stacy Wasserman tonight, and she has a great story about how networking helped her find a job after COVID caused her to lose her job, and she was able to start work in January of this year with a new career. Stacy, tell us your story.
Well, first of all, Julie, thank you for the invitation. So in July, I learned that there might be some redundancies in my current position. So I reached out to my network. I looked at everyone that I knew was at another financial firm, and I just called and said, "Hi, you've recently you've been in the industry, or you've recently made a change. What are your thoughts with the company that you're working with? Here's what I do. What do you think?" And I was so very, pleasantly surprised and pleased that people either invited me for coffee, just to learn about me and my skill sets, but also to tell me about what they were doing and their thoughts on the company that they were working for.
That is amazing. Networking is more than just going to events. It's more than just going to coffees. It's really about building relationships. And you never know when you're going to make a connection that can lead to a business deal or a new job. And I'm so happy that you found something.
Well, what's so interesting is that, so there was one person, two people in particular, that really connected with me and really helped me. So one was a gentleman that I'd actually tried to recruit last year.
Oh, wow.
And so I knew that he had been in the market recently.
Right.
So I called him. We had a great connection, and it simply didn't work out with the position that I was looking to hire him for.
Right.
But he said, "Hey, let's stay in touch." So
Absolutely.
I immediately reached out to him, and he said, "Let's have coffee." So I had coffee with him, and just in the conversation, he said, wait a minute, what are your thoughts on doing the job that I have? Would you like to talk to my manager? He passed my name along. Unfortunately, it didn't work with that company or that manager, but that manager in turn referred me to 4 other managers.
Wow.
So, over a span of 6 months, because I met with him in July, I talked to 4 different managers. In fact, the 4th manager reached out to me last week. And so I'm going to call her to let her know I appreciate the discussion. I've already got a job. And then I'm going to look for, what she's looking for in the hire so that maybe I can help pass someone over to her. So that channel didn't work, but I completely appreciate the fact that Brian continued to pass my name along.
Yes.
So the other person that I met with, or I connected with, he was a headhunter, and it was one of those random, hey, looks like we've got a lot in common. Would you have an interest in having a conversation? And I said, absolutely. So I let him know the situation, that I might be losing my job. And he's like, that's so interesting. I worked for your company for 25 years. I retired 2 years ago. I've been working for this headhunting firm, to stay busy.
Yeah.
I've got a position that I think would work really well for you.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome.
Well, and the cool thing with him is that he knew because he'd been with the company, he understood my role. He knew the skill sets and competencies that I had to have to do well.
Right.
So when he was presenting this option to me, at first I wasn't really interested. And because he knew the job, he said, I'm telling you, you can do this, because if you got to here in your position, I know your skill sets.
Right.
Will you please reconsider? So, not only was he just a headhunter trying to find, the next client, but he took a special interest in me and really helped me get the job.
I love that. And it took 6 months. So it didn't happen overnight, but you tapped into your network.
Yes.
You stayed the course. You had coffee with people. You reached out to people that you knew from the past that you'd interviewed. That's what it's about. So I'm so happy for you. And thank you so much for taking your time to share your story with us.
Well, you're welcome, Julie. I appreciate the opportunity to say hello to you. And I love that you guys are doing this. So she's awesome. Thank you.
Look, if you're not connected with us, you can connect with Julie on LinkedIn and me on LinkedIn. And we often talk about networking and things that we do there and things that you can do to grow your business. Anyway,
I'm Julie Wakefield.
and I'm Roger Wakefield.
And we'll see you in the next video if we don't see you at another networking event.
Absolutely.